Hello, soul friends. This is Miriam, and welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card reading. I am doing it at night, so the lighting is terrible, and I apologize for that. If I turn the overhead on, though, you might not like it. It's a little bit glary, you know. I know I just turned British there for a minute, but I did. So, let me know if you ever want me to do a reading sometime entirely in a weird accent that I do poorly. That'll be fun. Today's all about what do you have to look forward to? What good things are coming in towards you? Again, sorry for the shadows being in the way. It is nighttime that I am making this. So let's go ahead and shuffle your piles. While I say, remember, no matter your individual beliefs, tarot or oracle reading is your spirit guides coming forward to give you advice, or it is just your subconscious mind helping you answer life's ponders. And no matter how you look at that, it is healthy and you are in the right place. So welcome. If you're new, thank you for coming back. If you're not new, and we're just going to see, what do you have to look forward to? The last few readings that we did recently have been more on the serious side. So let's do some fun ones tonight. This deck that I just laid out before you. Ugh, of course, I always bury all the ones that I'm using under my table here. This is this one. And my favorite Halloween Oracle deck that I can't find the box for right now. There it is. Oh, of course, it's all underneath everything too. Sorry, guys. Oh, my word. That's the one. I just think they go together so cutesy wootsy. Yes. So we're going to look at things that you have to look forward to, things that are going to go well, hopes that are going to come to fruition, wishes that are going to come true, and all for you, my soul friends, all for you. Oh, spicy. Pile 3's feeling spicy already. Ooh. Oh. Geez, the energy in this side is some thick energy. So that freaks you out. Maybe pick a different one. If you're like, oh yeah, I like freaky, and go ahead and pick that one. All right. Make it sort of pretty for you. Right. There we go. Okay. Maybe if I sit off to the side awkwardly, you'll be able to see better. All right, hang on. All right, I lied, I buckled, I put the overhead on, so I'm sorry if it looks terrible. All right, so let's get you some charms and things to choose from. I forgot to grab anything to put out here. But that's okay. We got enough junk on my table that we can figure it out. Gimme. Right. Oh my lord. Well, you guys have a big old cluster mess on yours, group 3. What I tell you about the wild cards over here. I wasn't just making that up. That is 100% true. You naughty little devils, you. I'm going British again just for you. Oh, so naughty. All right. Here are your piles to choose from. This is a bracelet tangled up with 2 pendulums. So if a customer calls and I need to use them, it's going to get really interesting real quick how that's going to play out. This is an Indian agate bracelet, I believe is what they call that stone. This is hematite, tiger's eye, and I don't know, onyx maybe. And a tiger's eye ringy. All right. Pause the video if you like. If I didn't stay here long enough already, we'll see you in your individual readings. Bye. Group 1. So if you picked my awesome tiger's eye ring, I love how zigzaggy it is. See that? So fun. Let's get into your reading all about what you have to look forward to. Good things coming down the pike for you. Okay. We first have the lamp remembrance. Aw, okay. Also have the black cat, fortune meets opportunity. I swear that card comes out in almost every reading we've been doing for October. Okay, you got the veil in reverse. This book does do reversals, so we're going to go ahead and honor them this time. Even though I don't usually do reversals when there's words on the cards because they're upside down. I can't stand it, okay? And I'm not even like a perfectionist. For some reason, it just drives me crazy. Okay, joy, rejoicing in the present. Well, that goes along well with blessings now, doesn't it? Fortune meets opportunity, remembrances. So what I'm getting right off the bat, if I'm being completely honest with you, is not much at all. Okay. The lamp. So this, is talking about remembrance, but it's also giving me an illumination feeling of like a light coming on. And you're like, oh, I know what to do now. But I'm also getting like somebody in, how they are in those, gross, disgusting, romantic scenes where somebody's waiting for somebody because, their love is just that strong. They're like putting their gross little candle in the window for them so I don't know they're there, right? Ew. No. But I do feel that the blessing coming towards you is like something from the past for some kind of happy memory might be coming to others. That might be like a short little macro message for you. But it's like somebody, I have to be honest, somebody might have been holding a candle for you for a while and they might come back. So this is kind of giving me people that you thought were gone from your life. So I'm trying to like avoid this glare like I'm playing a video game. And I'm not good at those, except for Yoshi's Cookies. I'm really good at that game. It's like Tetris kind of, but no, it's more like Dr. Mario, but with cookies. It's pretty sweet. Anyway, it's like somebody was holding a candle for you, and with this remembrance card, they might be coming back. Since this is about blessings and good things happening, I feel like most of you would feel happy about that. So if you're like, no, anybody but them, maybe we're in the wrong pile, but let's wait and see maybe, okay? I'm also seeing like, you, what's the words I'm trying to say? You are going to feel like you're getting back something that you've missed. For others, I feel like if you've been in a grief cycle, you're finally getting to the point where the grief is coming to, the pain and sorrow and the, ugly cry face and the ugly cry face breakthrough crying. Do you guys know what breakthrough crying is? I learned this when I was going through a grieving period after my father passed away. That I had a sponsor because I'm in AA. Hi, my name's Miriam. I'm an alcoholic. Hi, Miriam. So anyway, they told me that when their partner passed, that they would get breakthrough crying, which is you're walking along, everything's totally fine. It can happen anytime. Like, I still to this day, like my brother passed away when I was, I think I was like 10. And so that was a really long time ago because I'm kind of old now. And that was like 32 years ago. So anyway, I still every once in a while will think about him, or, a lot of people will be like, I didn't know you had a brother, because he was a lot older than I was when he passed. And now I'm older than he never got to be, which is like it's such a strange thing to see that happen. I've heard people say the same thing when they like lose a parent young, and then they get older and they pass the age that their, dad was or whatever when their dad passed, or their mom, and like, my gosh, I'm like older than they ever got to be, the person that was teaching me everything, right? Anyway, I still will cry, right, about him. And I mean, it's so like embarrassing, because you think, and like people don't usually like get embarrassed for you because like, oh my gosh, you're sad, because you lost a person in your life. But you do feel embarrassed because you're like, and then where's this I'm sorry, I don't even know where this is coming from, right? That's called breakthrough crying. It's like something happens, reminds you of that person, and you start breakthrough crying. That I feel like if any of you are in a grief process, and it doesn't have to be like actual death of like a person, it could be, a pet, or, and if you're me, or like me, because you're not me, only me is me. If you're like me, pets are family, right? And so you grieve just as hard for them as you would like a sibling or a child or whatever. I totally, completely empathize, and yeah, it's just as big for me. So anywho, if it's not like an actual death of like somebody you love, it could be like grieving over something like, loss of a job, loss of an idea, loss of something that you wanted, loss of an idea of what you had for someone, right? Like you thought things were a certain way, and then you realize like, nope, that's not how it is. Well, that sucks. And so I feel like the blessing to start off is that they're showing that the hard times are over, almost not over, but you know what I mean? Like it's starting to get less raw, and that you might be moving towards more of a, like the old white-haired guy Judd in the old Pet Cemetery from the 90s. And he said, that's where the pain stops, the good memories begin, right? Not Lewis. He's your cat now. Yes. Check it out. That movie traumatized me as a child. It's also about grieving. Weird. Okay. So the bad times stop, the memories begin, and then you just have like the happy memories. I just was watching an interview with somebody that lost their brother in like a 9/11 video, like an old documentary, and he was talking about that when they finally found his brother's remains, like one of the few remains that they found in those buildings, right? That he was, so sad riding in the back of the ambulance with like his passed away brother, but he said that somehow this like peace washed over him, and he felt all the good memories come back. And I remember my mom saying that about my dad, that all of a sudden she got scared in the middle of the night because she, my dad wasn't the best to her, kind of thing. And she woke up in the middle of the night and heard a noise that sounded familiar, like when he would come home, and she got scared like she would when he would come home, kind of feeling. Not like she got scared every time he came home, but she was like apprehensive whenever he came home. So now that she knew he was gone and she heard him come home, it scared her, right? And then she realized it was my little brother driving in his big rig truck, and that's why it woke her up. My dad used to drive big rigs. And she said that was when something washed over her. And she remembered all the good times they had together, and like stopped feeling angry with him and all of that. So I thought that was pretty beautiful. So I feel like if that's, like you're moving forward, if it's like loss of a job, you could be like moving forward to the point where, you you've been replacing the loss with new things, and you're just, healing just is healing. It just happens. So now you're starting to look back. The memories aren't as painful anymore. They're more like happy memories. You're feeling more gratitude that you had it, and now that it's gone, that's sad, but you can remember it. Now let's talk about you grossy grossertons who have a ex coming back. Gross. I feel like if this is like, man, it feels entirely as if this person has not seen you or been in touch with you since said breakup or whatever split you apart. It could be a friendship as well. It could be like any person coming back into your life. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it is deep enough that they held a candle for you in some way and you didn't realize it. And you're going to be happy that they're coming back. So if you're not happy about an ex coming back and you're not coming out of a grief cycle, probably not the group for you. And you might want to pick one of those other two crazy piles we had. Maybe you're a crazy spicy one for pile 3 with that crazy stuff that was happening when I was shuffling the cards. Okay, so Black Cat, fortune meets opportunity. I like how they say fortune meets opportunity and they made it a black cat because there's that whole black cats are bad luck, kind of deal. And in esoteric type cultural, magic-y worlds, black is actually a very holy and good color. And no, it's not because we're Satanists and it's the color of Satan. Even though if you want to worship Satan... In my house, we call him Satan because in the show American Horror Story, there was a weird season that was more of a comedy that was kind of like it's like a spoof of like all the Jason Voorhees, Nightmare. No, not Nightmare on Elm Street. That's Freddy. What the heck is it called? Where the guy with the hockey mask is hacking up kids out in the woods. You know the one. Give it to me in the comments so I don't have to go look it up on IMDb. But anyway... when that guy was, killing everybody. Anywho, sorry, my camera shut off. In that particular American Horror Story, they had the ghost of Richard Ramirez, and he was a Satanist, I guess, when he was alive, and he talks about Satan throughout the entire, because that's his god. He prays to him, right? And so because of his accent that the actor was using, he would say Satan, Satan. And so me and my friend John here, Mr. John, who lives in the basement, my life partner, he and I now just anytime anybody says Satan on TV, on anything, we look at each other, we go, Satan. Anyway, not to give anybody a hard time if you're a Satanist. I'm totally cool with whoever wants to believe in whatever they want. You can be a Christian and come check out this channel. You can be a Satanist. You could be a Buddhist. I don't, some people don't, their religion, they don't want to do this stuff. So, I get that. But, even if you do, you're welcome no matter what, right? You're in the right place. They're like, am I? This is getting weird, man. You're talking about all kinds of weird stuff like Satan and all of that. Yes, I am. Anyway, back to that whole thing. So I don't think that it's not supposed to be holy, satanic. It's black is a protective color. Okay, and they're like, oh yeah, she brought up the color black. That's where this weird segue into Satan and all this other American horror story horse dookie came from. So anyway, can you guys imagine what I was like as a teacher? Because I lectured just like this. It wasn't on this particular topic, but it was on, this is how I talk. So anyway, I like that it's not a bad luck thing. Cats in a lot of other cultures, just all of them in general, are lucky, right? And so that's the spirit this card is taking. So it's going to feel like good luck if this person comes back. It's going to feel like, not good luck, but you're going to feel grateful that the raw part of the grief is coming to an end, and you have this like good memories coming in, happy things happening, and the past coming back to meet the present and moving into the future together. So that did not come from me. That was one of your very eloquent speaking guides using my very ineloquent voice to get that little message out. The Veil in Reverse. For this one, because I don't usually do reversals with this deck, we are going to... Gosh, I buried it again, you guys. Yep, that's what I did, all right. I just buried this deck again because, now I won't. And it'll be on top and I'll use a different deck next time. And then I can dig that one out. It'll be so fun. And we can talk about it like we talk about everything. Here, the Veil, the Veil. I wonder if it's under the T's or the V's. See, back before the world went crazy, it was in the... Ooh. Okay, so I'm really old. There used to be a time when alphabetical order was a way that we found things. And I know that some of you are like, yeah, of course, we still do. Yeah, in theory, ideally we would. But as a teacher, I started noticing that kids weren't remembering how to do alphabetical. And then I started noticing, like in programs, right, the computer programs you have to use for work all the time, that a lot of times those things weren't alphabetized. Like our staff list was never alphabetized. It was just like whoever quit that year, the new person's name got put in that person's spot. And that was on everything. Call sheets, room numbers. It did not matter. I don't even know who I am anymore because it was so hard. So the Veil is actually under the V's because instead of the T's, because back in the day, if you're old like me, if it was a title that has the in front of it, you just go to the first word of the... Otherwise, you've got way too many T's you got to look through, right? Okay, so the original meaning of this card is there is a misty curtain that divides us all. The veil that this night thins, transparent. The weave become the future no longer dims. What the heck did I just say? There's a misty curtain that divides us all. The veil that this night thins, transparent the weave becomes, and the future no longer dims. Okay, I said it a little better that time. Just mute me and pause it whenever I put words in front of you. Oh, nope, I lied, y'all. It must have been a different Oracle deck that takes reversals. You get the upright position, but we're still going to read it since we opened the book. The ancient Celts used to call the time of the longest night of the year Samhain, pronounced Samhain. They believed that there was a misty veil that separated the world of the dead and the living. But on 2 nights of the year, Samhain and Beltane, the shortest night and the veil would thin. The fineness of the veil meant the ancestors were closer than ever, and even the gods would be close. This would mean that communications from the dead were more likely to occur, and that divination, where the divine speaks through something, would be more effective. So, while using this oracle as the veil lifts, know that the other worlds are close. Listen in particular to what messages may come forth around your future. Look to what you want to happen. Plan, set intentions, and think big. So, interesting that comes out if some of you are grieving an actual death. The veil is very thin right now. So it could be that you might get a visitation. You might feel very, the comfort or the, happy memories that come in could be a sign that your loved ones that you lost are close. Okay. If you're grieving something that's not a death that just happened to you, it still is a message that your guides are close right now. They're very close. And they're very talkative. They're going to be very communicative. So if you want to learn more about them and then vicariously learn more about yourself, this would be a good time to talk to your guides. Okay. The main thing I always say is don't be like a kid on an 80s movie and just crack open a Ouija board and be like, is there anybody there? That's like kicking your front door open and being like, does anybody want to come inside? Nobody would do that. So don't do that with any of your divination tools, please. You only invite in good, benevolent guides who want only your best interest for you, who are in the light of whatever creator you pray to, all right? If your creator is Satan, just kidding, then you already know what to do. All right. So the veil is very thin. It also talks about the future. And this is interesting, y'all. Blessings coming in. I know that I can't be the only one because I watch the television. But, it's rough times right now. It's a very uncertain, unprecedented times. Sir, this is a very difficult time for our country, okay? Everybody is freaking out for whatever personal reasons you have, okay? And so I feel that for people in this group, the blessing coming towards you is that whatever cockamamie crazy that you're scared of happening to you, that you see in the news, right? That you will be spared. That's what I'm seeing there. Like whatever you're worried about is going to, so maybe you're worried that the economy is going to get so bad that you're going to lose your job, or like maybe, maybe your candidate that you're voting for actually wins. Maybe the candidate you didn't vote for wins, but it doesn't turn out as catastrophic as you thought it would. Maybe you see catastrophe, which we're seeing all over with floods and wars and rumors of wars. That is actually a good card to show that I feel protection over you. That part of your blessing in this tumultuous time is that you will witness much, but you won't be taken out by it. Can I come stay with you? All right. We have joy, rejoicing in the present. Wait, did I want to say something? For those of you who are having an ex come back, or a person from your past coming back forward, I like that the person from your past, I was saying, was meeting your present, and then you're going to go off into the future together. Okay. So that was your guide talking, remember, for some of you. And so that to me feels like that they're not going to go away again right away. All right. Like they might be here to stay this time. Okay. And I feel like that's happy for you. And all of this is going to bring you lots of joy, like rejoicing in the present. So like not freaking out too bad about the future, right? I know that especially when somebody comes back that you thought was gone, you kind of wonder how long they're going to stay, or at least I do, right? Especially if they're the one that chose to leave in the first place. But this card wants to go in your pile, I've decided. I'm putting it on the bottom of your little stack here. I feel like you can rejoice because it's not going to, everything comes to an end, right? Even if you end up with the love of your life, the chances of you both passing away on the exact same time, on the exact same day, and just ascending to the afterlife together, and you're both in the same little like afterlife category of where you go. And they're like, whoa, what does that mean? Ha ha ha, what a deed. I could recommend some documentaries for you. Or a book called What Dreams May Come. That is a good book. They made it into a movie, but the ending kind of gets Hollywood happy. And that, yeah. Anywho, but Robin Williams is in it, which is like, aw, so good. It's so good. It's still a really good movie. But the book is just a little more, a little more gritty love. All right. So anyway, oh, what was I saying? I need like a little parrot, that sounds like, you were saying that. It's like, that's all I train it to do is like, what was I just saying? They're like, I don't know, you were saying a lot. Like, you're like Satan and this and that and the other. You're crazy, lady. I am. I'm glad you figured that out because it'll get worse the older I get. I feel like this joy sweeping over you, of like your ex coming back, or you're, having that back and it kind of staying. Like, obviously we're not going to, nothing lasts forever, but this is lasting this time. It's different this time, if this is your pile, okay? And so, if trust is a thing, I always say trust gut, but I do feel like your guides are saying that this is going to be better this time. Okay. Let's get you. Did I cover all of it? Oh, loss of job stuff, right? Or loss of something besides like a loved one. I feel like, you are going to start rejoicing in what you have now. And that's just the natural progression of how things are going for you. Let's move these over a little bit so you can see them all a little bit more. Okay. Now let's get you some tarot. We have the Emperor. Very nice. So some of you, I feel like if you did change careers, some of you might be doing more independent work. You might have taken a job as more of an authoritative type figure. I feel like you might be making some good money if that's what you're doing. What else, Spirit? Okay, I'm going to lay the rest of these out and then get into it because there's so many different storylines in here. Oh, the Beast. I think that's the Devil card. Others, sometimes they call the Devil Satan. In the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, you're going to get a million letters from like angry Satanists. They're like, we don't appreciate you making light of that. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it meanly. So we welcome all religions here that are welcomed into the United States of America. And from what I've heard, the Satanists are an accepted religion now. So you are going to be okay. No, I've talked to people and watched enough documentaries that, I honestly, I think that people out there sacrificing people and everything and doing all those horrific things that they told us about during the satanic panic of the 1980s and the 1990s, that, that they blew a lot of it out of proportion. And that I do understand that, it's just another religion that people just happen to name Satanism, and that really upsets some other people. I understand that too. All right, let's go ahead and keep on going. Lorna, the Death card. Ooh. You're such an interesting pile. Group 1. We have Ace of Swords. King of Swords. Cool. The Hierophant. There's like a bunch of extra stuff on there. I was like, what does that say? And 6 of Cups. Ooh, that goes along with your person from your past coming back. I'm going to slide that over there just becausies. Just because it's the wonderful things he does. So, Emperor energy. For those of you, I feel like this kind of just goes across the board for all of the situations that we picked apart in the first spread of cards, is that this feeling of someone coming back, the grief not being so raw, that kind of feeling is kind of leaving you feeling like the Emperor, feeling like, oh yeah, things are good, right? And it also speaks to good things coming in, like abundance. So just because this is feeling better doesn't mean that it's not going to feel even more better. Like, oh my gosh, did you just say more better and you used to be an English teacher? Yes, I did. Okay. The Beast. The Devil is all about, because we're looking at blessings here. It's about oppression, but it's about self-oppression. You can get away from it whenever you want. And so I feel like some of you are like shaking off the oppressiveness of that grief. I feel like some of you are freeing yourselves or feeling freer from the ouchiness of your past. If it's an ex coming back, that's romantic type stuff, I feel like it's going to be more of a focus on, making things pleasurable, having good times as opposed to like dramatic times or fighty times. Okay, like enjoying the pleasures of life, if you know what I mean. And then if it's about like somebody that's not romantic coming back into your life, it's going to feel freeing. I feel like there was some kind of issue with this energy here that when they left, like you felt kind of empty. Oh, excuse me. You felt kind of empty, and so did they. And like you didn't know that until they come back. And then you're like, oh my gosh, we were both feeling the same thing this whole time, and it's just this relief. And then we have change come in. And that is all about good change in this particular case. Things changing for the better, like that ex being different this time if they were different. Maybe you're different this time if it was like all your fault you broke up. No, I'm just kidding. It's never all just one person's fault. Sometimes it's nobody's fault. But I feel like it's good change that's coming. And it's great opportunity, right? A great new beginning. A new time to speak new truths. I also feel like maybe if somebody's coming back into your life, if there was a communication blockage of some kind or people not being honest with one another, this is a good indication that that's going to be part of that change. Then we have the King of Axes or Swords, which is overcoming those challenges. You have overcome so much already just when you clicked play on this video, and it's just getting better from here. You're overcoming your challenges. You could even, I'm seeing with the Hierophant, this is a marriage card, and I don't go out buying diamond rings just yet. Diamond rings and bassinets. But those of you whose ex is coming back, if it's romantic and the Hierophant shows up, well, that could be a marriage down the road. I also love the Six of Cups because that's that nostalgic person from your past card, and so that's really cool. I also feel like for some of this isn't romantic, the nostalgia of those like past memories are coming in, right? Of all that stuff, all those wonderful things. I also feel like this card in this particular spread is representing this idea that because you're not so grief-stricken anymore, you can actually like enjoy those happy memories, but also look and see and recognize and absorb what you brought, right? Or if it was an ex, like what you brought to that relationship or that friendship, if it's a platonic, what you brought to, your job, what you brought to, right? What you have to offer. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So that is all I have for you, my friends. Go ahead and tell me if this was helpful to you at all. I can't imagine how it could have been. In the comments section, you can give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to get a hold of me in the description box, my friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Group 2, if you picked the Tiger's Eye, Hematite, and Onyx bracelet, let's go ahead and look at blessings coming towards you. Skull of Darkness, blind spots. Ghost, regret. Ooh, I guess mine is there. Trick or treat, mischief, and play. I love these cards. They're so cute. And Night Song, hidden talents. This is a spunky little group right here. So some of these cards are, the first two especially are a little bit negative usually, This one is a little bit naughty. And this is about blessings. So we're going to have to put my little thinking cap on here and see what your guides have to say. I feel like blind spots, I feel like a blessing for, this is going to be so random, y'all. I'm sorry. But like I've got so many energies coming in right now. And I'm me. And so it's going to be a mazy reading, but sometimes they're amazing. Okay. That you might have safety in a blind spot. You might have a piece of luck because you're in a little bit of a blind spot. So maybe you didn't see something right away, and so you didn't get involved in something, and then later on you're like, oh, thank God I didn't do that. Or, you're able to create a blind spot so that you get out of a unmanageable situation, or find safety in a dangerous situation. Don't go out and do anything dangerous now. You're so dangerous. Okay. Other things. That's very general, but I'm going to move on to the ghost because this is a little bit more. We have the ghost, regret. I feel like some of you are going to get the blessing of getting to actually witness a person who ghosted you regretting it. And I know that's going to be music to some ears because whenever I'm doing private readings and somebody tells me that somebody hurt them or ghosted them, like 90% of the time, they're like, do they even know, do they even know what they're missing? Or do they even have any regret for making me feel this way? And I feel like they will. But I also feel similar to group one that there's going to be some exes coming back. Okay. Oh, lots of energy. I'm really trying to make sure I don't mess this up. Yeah. Okay. Some of you might, I feel like for this group, if this person's coming back, you are not going to be happy about it. Okay. So you might be in group one because they are more happy that an ex was coming or a person was coming back. In your particular case, I feel like you're like, please, no, you don't want them to come back, but you do want them to regret what they've done to you, kind of, right? Or at least be aware of what they've done to you, acknowledge or be punished for what they did. And so you are maybe going to get that, and it's a rare thing to get to see that. Excuse me. But you're going to get to see that, which that'll make a lot of people jelly. A lot of people that call and do readings are going to be like, I want that. But, hopefully they'll find this channel someday if they didn't find me here. Alrighty. I feel like for others, so I feel like this blind spot, if somebody does come back, some of you aren't going to have to deal with this ex because that's that blind spot that's going to protect you from them coming back into your life in a way that like bothers you. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play about because there's so many different like energies here that I don't want to go into like too much detail of the stuff that I'm like getting here. But it's almost, like this isn't a real example of anything I'm picking up, but you're walking along and you see your ex and you're like, no. And like just before they look right up at you because they're walking right towards you, they get distracted by something and it gives you enough time to get away and find a blind spot is what I'm hearing. Another thing that I'm feeling, what was the other thing with blind spots? Oh, so many things in my brain and none of them are working right. With the blind spot thing of being a blessing, I don't know if I said this yet. It could be that some of you are going to see past a blind spot that used to be there. Oh, excuse me. Or you just end up seeing something that you needed to see. Okay. For past people coming back into your life, even if you don't get to see them regretting it, like firsthand, like they don't say anything to you, like especially if you hop in your blind spot and they don't see you, right? And you're like, yes. Has that ever happened to anybody before? give me a story about it in the comments about a time that you almost bumped into somebody you didn't want to talk to and they were like right there and they just got distracted at the last minute or something came along and just saved you from that situation. It's the most relieving, most awesome. I call those movie moments because those things usually only happen in the movies. Regret, what else? That's really all I'm picking up. And I feel like it gives you that mischievous glee. I'm like, man, those exes must have done you dirty, pile two. I'm glad that they regret it. And I'll go right along with you. I feel like that's honestly all I'm getting from that card is just that like mischievous, like kind of guilty pleasure of like, and I'm not even judging you for that because whenever that happens to me, I feel like it feels good. Like I feel like that's a gift of like relief to my brain that things are different than what I was perceiving them to be, or they ended up different than I thought they were, that I end up coming out good grief on top, as opposed to, you know, feeling like the sad little squirrel I always am. I'm just kidding. I'm not a squirrel. All right. And then Night Song, Hidden Talent. I feel like a blessing coming in for you is a hidden talent that feels very across the board and not really connected to exes or anything like that. Some kind of a hidden talent is going to become visual to you or apparent to you. And it's going to give you a lot of joy. And it's going to give you a lot of confidence and luck. What else? Okay, let's move on to your tarot. Yeah, a lot of tarot cards. So let's just see what we... I'm going to lay them out first and we'll get into it as we go. So, Wheel of Fortune. Look at those funny little cross animal sea and air creature type all mixed together. Not air creatures like, but above water and underwater creatures. Very, very interesting cards these are. Knight of Cups. Ugh, what did I tell you? I feel like for some of you, if that ex comes back, they're really going to be trying to lay on the I love you, I made a huge mistake. I feel like for some of you, that might not even be the first time. I feel like for others, that when you have like that whole, oh, they go away and they come back, is that a pattern for people, like even with people who aren't romantic? Like, did every ex you have of every type sort of surprise you by coming back and you're like, seriously? But I'm like kind of over you now. And that gives you that little mischievous gleam and you're like, busy, sorry. I've done that. I'm not gonna lie. I acted like, meh. Yeah, you're back. Yeah, I'm not going with you though. I'm like, but I'm like, yeah, busy. You're right, see ya. I'm too much of a prideful person to be like, you really hurt me, and that's why I'm not letting you back, because I don't want you to do it again. I'm like, yeah, you're like really that important to begin with. So, and like sometimes I've said that and meant it, so good luck figuring out which one you are. Not that it's any of you. Y'all are cool. Let's see. Ooh, 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups. I love this card. This might be my favorite card in the whole deck of tarot is the 10 of Cups. 3 of Cups. Very nice. 5 of Cups. We'll see what that's about. 2 of Wands. 9 of Wands. Let go of me. And, ooh, King of Cups. Okay. So for those of you whose ex is coming back, this was supposed to happen during this time. I also feel like it's just that time, because if you're one of those people who they always come back, and you know who you are if you are, you knew this was coming. You were like, oh, of course. You might not think about it. In my experience, whenever I've moved on from someone, that's usually when they come back. So it's like you haven't even actually thought about them and you forgot they existed for like a while, man, like a couple of weeks even maybe, or months. And then all of a sudden their ringtone pops up and you're like, oh no, what are they doing here? Or you see them in your DMs and you're like, oh. And you're like, do I say anything or do I just immediately block? I've done both, right? And y'all, I'm telling you, I do this with platonic people too. So I feel like you knew this was coming. I feel like those of you who are trying to avoid, confrontation, you want to stay in that blind spot. Or like for those of you that a blind spot just kind of comes in and saves you, right? Like, honestly, I really don't feel much except for the ex coming back. Did I say something in the beginning that I forgot? And that whole group of people are like, you started off with us, and then you left us back there because you're so scatterbrained, Miriam. I am. It's like to get much worse. So, if I ever do that, and you want to tell me in the comment section that I did that, nicely though, don't hurt my feelings, dudes. I do readings all day for a living, and then I also do these. Do you know how mixed up I get about what situations I'm reading? I'm like dreading the day that I get a client that has like the same name as another client, and I just start talking about the other person's situation, and they're like, what are you even talking about? Just kidding. I would never do that. No, I bet you I will. I bet you I will. I probably have like something wrong with my brain because I'm like this all the time. It doesn't matter if I'm like, doing what these guys are doing, tipping some back, getting a little frisky, enjoying some recreational activities of some kind. Yeah, no, I'm like this just all the time. I'm actually more like this because my brain is so scrambly that it just goes around and around and around. So I feel like, so if I ever do that, if I ever start a storyline for a group of you, because there's a bunch of energies coming in, and I drop one of you off, say something in the comments and just be like, hey Miriam, you forgot to say why the people who blah 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 were going to blah blah blah, and I'll be like, and even though I have a terrible memory and amazing mind that just jumps to everything all the time, when you do that, I will remember. I'll remember. I'm like, oh yeah, it was that one thing. And then I'll go back and look at the video and look at the cards and be like, this is what it means. Yep, I will. I'll do that for you. So anyway, and I've watched readings before where the reader started off with like all the different groups, but then by the end they kind of were focusing more on like the romance or whatever, aspect, and the others kind of fell away. But then I just took that as a sign that my little message was just for the beginning and bounced on out and got, moved on. Yeah, I feel like with the Knight of Cups, they might really offer you the Moon and the Stars. They might offer you the 10 of Cups, okay? They might offer you the 3 of Cups, but they're going to slip back into those old patterns. And I feel like you know that, and that's why you don't want to entertain that notion. Okay? I feel like the decision that you're being faced with the 2 of Wands, that you're going to make the right decision. You're not going to make more sacrifices than you need to because you've already been through it. Okay? For those of you that don't even have to, you're just going to like blind spot away from it. Oh, maybe that's why there's nothing for you. You get away. There's just there's none of this matters because none of it happens. Well, that makes sense. It kind of makes sense. So there we go. I'm crazy, but there is method to my madness. I feel like also that there's a lot of blessings in here just coming up for you in general besides like your big situation. So like I am going to throw those in there before the end. But I feel like, because I'm feeling that from like these 2 cards in particular, and this one, and these 2, and that one, and that one. Okay. So I feel like you you're not going to fall for it. Okay. And that's going to put you in a much more emotionally stable place. You're going to hold out for that King of Cups energy with a person, like that mature, stable, loving, doesn't play weird games, doesn't get volatile, doesn't get all weird, doesn't ghost you, etc. and so forth. And you just move on a happy little clam, right? Just a happy little clam. Now let's talk about the blessings, just the little blessings that I see coming through. With the mischief and the trick-or-treating, I feel like you've got this like childlike joy, at least coming through with you during this time, and that you're just kind of, I don't know, having some nostalgic stuff going on. I feel like with this talent that you have coming through of some sort, that that you're going to really get creative and use it to its full potential. I'm also seeing with the Wheel of Fortune that this is a lucky time for you. Even if the ex comes around, it's lucky because you actually get to kind of like see them regret what they did. So many people want to see that. We never get to, right? We're like, I want to watch them crash and burn and just watch their life suck forever. I'm going to be honest though, that happened to me one time. I had like an ex-person, we could say, that I was like, you know, I didn't wish bad things to happen to them, but I also didn't want them to like get rich and famous and have a happier life than me. That's for sure, after what they did, right? And then a friend of mine was like, hey, I was stalking so-and-so on Facebook the other day. And I was like, who's so-and-so? Like, we went to high school with them. Like, I don't remember, because I don't remember anything from high school. Back to my brain, not retaining anything. And she's like, yes, you do. No, I don't. Anyway, I was like, I don't even remember that. She was like, how have you never stalked somebody from high school? Like, I was like, I'll stalk anyone. She's like, not stalking. Like, you look them up and see if you can find them on Facebook. You know, because old people like us didn't have Facebook back in the day. And we also didn't have social media of any kind. Like, by the time I graduated, people were just like barely starting to like get into emails regularly, especially out in the sticks where I live. There's probably people out here who still don't have a computer, still don't email anyone. What they do to survive, I'm not sure. They must live totally off the grid, hunting and fishing and just probably being way happier than the rest of us. But it's like, I finally looked them up and they really did have a terrible life after, you know, what they did to me. And it brought me no comfort or pleasure, my friends. I just felt sorry for them. I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad that happened to them. But, you know, this was like way back from when we were like, you know, we was just stupid kids. So I feel like for some of you, you might have like something like a happy move of some kind. Some of you might just be moving right now. And if that's the case, you're going to like where you go. I also feel like, oh, this just came in. Wow. I feel like some of you, if you had a breakup situation and that person comes back, part of their regret is that you're with somebody else right now and you're super happy and they see it and you get to see the look on their face like, oh, I could have had that and that's gone. That is awesome. I like that one. Yes, indeed. And that's like why you're going to turn them down or like try to just stay away from them in general. Okay. Is because you've already found your happiness in someone else. I did just get that for some of you. I also feel like some of you are just going to have a good time with some friends here pretty soon. Could be like a Halloween party in a couple of weeks, right? If you're watching this in October. I also feel like the regret thing with this card goes along with the ex-person energy of they're going to, like in that moment of rejection from you or not being able to find you, right? They are going to really feel even worse than what you would expect. Like it's going to be almost like they're dramatic about it. Like I feel like if this is an ex coming back and the reason you don't want them back is because like this was a highly dysfunctional person or like highly selfish. somebody that ghosts you, right? Instead of telling you they don't want to be with you anymore. Not that you can't ghost somebody from time to time. Sometimes we have to because there's nothing you can say. Sometimes you have to because it's, dangerous. You gotta make sure you change your name and that kind of thing. But I feel like they're going to be focusing more on what they've lost than what they have. Ooh, doesn't that feel tasty? Okay. I also see with the Two of Wands, just like a pleasant time in your life, like having good choices, good partnerships, and kind of having the world in the palm of your little... What the heck do you call frog feet? Frog feet? Yeah, because they eat them. They eat frog legs. Frog feet. They're just like this little can of them. Anyway. Frog feet. I'm just going to start calling frog legs frog feet. Maybe they don't eat the feet, but it's all so connected. I don't know how you would tell the difference. But he's holding that in his little frog foot there. And that's you. You're going to be holding the world in the palm. The world is your oyster, my friends. The world is your oyster. We have the Nine of Wands, which is you not making sacrifices that you don't need to make. You've already been through the ringer, and your shift with all of that is about done. Okay. And once again, just back to that very emotionally stable energy. If you are with a new person now, you are with that King of Cups person. It doesn't have to be a dude. It can be a lady. It can be a lady. I don't think that's a real song. But it's saying that you're going to have that embodiment of that person. Okay. And that's why you don't need that X. The rest of you just get away unscathed, and you probably clicked off this video and unsubscribed long ago. So, all right, I think that's all I have for you. If this was helpful for you, I can't imagine why it would be, but you can give me comments on how it was or wasn't in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you would like to book a prayer reading with me, there's ways to do so in the description box. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye-bye-bye. Hello, spicy group 3. So if you picked the Indian agate bracelet that got hopelessly tangled into my pendulum, and I mean, this one came out okay, but now it's tangling in this other one. Oh my lord. And those pendulums have these little, rings that keep everything all together, but the little rings have some gaps in them because those are some very inexpensive pendulums that I got on like Temu, because I drop my pendulums and break them all the time if they're made out of crystals. So anyway, that might mean something if you pick this pile. You might be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? You might be a little bit spicy. You might be a little bit quirky. You might have been watching this reading for blessings because like stuff has been happening to you like that in a way that's like, I don't like it. It's not fun. Okay. That could be, but it doesn't have to be. If that resonated with you though, you might be in the right place. It may or may not have anything to do with your reading though. This is about blessings, however. So we'll be focusing, if bad things were happening to you, we'll be focusing on the fact that we should be getting through it. All right, let's look at your Halloween oracle cards. We have Dawn, the light after the darkness. All right, I shuffled these at the beginning, so you can go prove it. This is shuffled them right in front of you, and I'm so glad you did. Like, what was I just saying? Like a messy time, and now things are feeling a little bit better, right? Oh, sorry, I'm like totally off the. Sorry, I have the overheads on, and so for you, the glare is right there. For me, it's like my entire screen that I'm trying to like see. And so I can't tell if I kick the table too far out and you end up seeing my legs. And I can't tell. Here, we'll just zoom in a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer. I also have like the owl here. The owl can be a symbol for death, which means it's also a symbol for rebirth, but it's also a symbol of change. What is that? It almost looks like a fire, but I can't tell. And it makes me think of all the forest fires that people have been having this year, especially out in the Western world. What else we got? So yeah, the dark times are over. New times are coming in. Zoom. There we go. And that is good stuff coming in. Okay. We have Apple, risk and reward. Ooh. Zooming yet some more. Okay. Protection. And infinite possibilities. Ooh, very nice. Nice energy. My group 4. So, what I'm seeing here with these cards is that you've been through a rough patch. You have been through a roughy one. And so you need lots of blessings. You really do. As far as your individual situations, it's very murky. I'm not seeing a lot of details just yet. The tarot might help us with that. But it feels, like everything going wrong, right? From like, your car breaking down to, your dog breaking up with you. They just come and sit down. They're like, oh, we need to talk rough. This isn't working for me. And you're like, no. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully nobody's like, I lost my dog. How dare you? I didn't mean like losing somebody for real. Just, joking around. But I feel like, maybe some of you have experienced some loss. And maybe some of you have had like, so much bad luck lately that it feels like you might have been cursed, right? And you might have even like watched a video like, am I cursed? I bet you're not. And if you are, just laugh and say, you can't curse me. Ha 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 ha. And that breaks the curse's power. You heard it here. If they have power to curse you, you have power to release that curse. Yep, because nobody's more powerful than somebody else, in my opinion. Just different experience. I feel like risk and reward is showing that you might have something coming towards you that feels risky, but your guides are saying that there is like a good reward coming from that. So if there's something that you feel like you're taking like a risky venture or something like that, I would never like encourage you to watch a reading and be like, she said take a risk, so I invested every cent I have and all my worldly possessions into crypto, and it's like some weird crypto that doesn't make any money, and you're like, she told me. No, not like that. Like, don't do anything crazy. That would be like reckless, right? Risk is a little different. So I feel like if you're doing something risky, or it feels a little bit risky, or like a little less comfort zone, right? That your guides are showing that you're actually getting a reward coming in. I feel like for some, this could be like a creative risk. Like possibly maybe you have like an assignment or a project that you're doing and you kind of want to do it a little bit differently than what's been done like in the past. And you're not sure because no one's ever done it like that before, but you kind of want to try. That's the kind of risk I'm talking about. So if you're thinking about trying a new, way of writing, trying a new way of maybe like you do, stuff like this, like content, doing a new risky way to do content, right? Finding rewards in taking the risk of being, okay, I just got the risk of walking away. And I don't feel like that's a breakup message. I feel like, and if you've had a breakup, you might be one of the other two piles had some breakup issues in there. But I feel like if you're walking away from something, it feels more like walking away from like a group or an idea or like an institution or something along those lines. Like it could even be like walking away from a dream that you might have even had. But you're like, you know what? This isn't working for me and I'm going to move on. And you decide to go and it feels risky, but the reward is worth it. Like, I wouldn't recommend doing what I've done with my career, but I had no choice. I had to stop my career halfway through it and then start doing this for a living. Don't get me wrong, it's very low stress work. It really is. And it's fun, but it's risky. Because what if they stop coming around? Your clients and your guides, right? What if your guides are just like, we're not talking to you anymore. You're doing this on your own. You're like, but I need you. What? But it has reward with it, because if I hadn't have walked away from my previous job and started doing this, I wouldn't have learned the things that I've learned so far, and I probably wouldn't be as healthy as I am right now, because the work situation I was in before was really, really, really going to kill me health-wise. My body was not going to make it. And so rather than just saying, oh, I'll just keep going until I die of whatever this thing is that I have, I've got autoimmune stuff, I decided that I would walk away from that career instead. And with teachers, I've seen other people that make the other choice. Okay. They stay and they keep working. And I respect that too. So you just got to do what you got to do. Those people that stay, they risk, whatever the risk is from staying. For me, it would have been risk of my health getting even worse. And so I'm definitely feeling with you guys that it's like risks like that, not like life or death. Even though I was just like, I would have died. Not like life or death stuff like that. But little things, taking a little risk about, like, it could even be little things like an outfit, taking a risk on like a hairstyle, taking a risk on body art, taking a risk on taking off your body art. Oh, Miriam, what? Yes. But you're covered in tattoos. Yes, I can't take those off. But I used to have piercings all through my ears that would never heal right, and they hurt all the time. And so I finally was like, meh. And I just took them all out. And, I still have like a nose ring, and that's it. Because, and yeah, it was a risk, I guess, in some ways. No, it wasn't. But it's probably the right thing to do if they weren't healing, right? Right, guys? But it's okay to like take a risk and try that out. Like if you're kind of an unconventional looking person like me, I know you probably can't tell that from my profile picture, but I am heavily tattooed, and I wear the funkiest outfits you've ever seen. Like the clothing style isn't funky, but the colors are crazy. And then I wear like mismatched socks with it and stuff. Like it all color coordinates, but like the patterns are never matched. And people don't like it, or people really like it. It just depends on who you are. Some people don't like it because of how old I am. They're like, oh, you look like you're dressed like you're going to a 6th grade class, whatever. But see, that might feel like a risk for some, so maybe a little risky, fun thing to try would be, wearing like a very corporate attire, very conservative looking like outfit, and just seeing how that feels on you, and seeing if that's what you want to do sometimes, or maybe that's what you want to do all the time. Maybe you want to grow your hair out really long, or maybe you want to take your very long hair and cut it very, very short, or completely shave your head. Any of those things. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for the yawning. I can't remember which pile was getting it the worst, but it might be you because you're the last one. You might beat them out. But those kinds of little risks. And so I feel like if you're holding back, you're missing out on your reward. Okay? It could be like a risk of, maybe you want to try something new, like getting a pet, or having, oh gosh, I would never recommend anyone to do this, having children. We've got enough of those. Stop. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm like I was a teacher. I don't hate kids, but I definitely don't want to have them in my house all the time and be related to me. I'm sorry. They, I always say my phantom children are so glad they don't exist. Because their life would be miserable with me. I would be like the most obnoxious mom ever. Like I would be like how I am with you guys, which is like kooky and weird and probably embarrass the hell out of them. And then I also have this like worrywart side of, oh, don't ride your bike like that or you're gonna die. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. That kind of energy. It's very, very neurotic and embarrassing. The other reward coming towards you, or the other blessing, is protection. And if you're worried about, risk, your guys are just giving you a little more oomph on, you got this. The reward is coming, and you have protection for this like little risk that you're taking. Okay. And what does that open up for you? Infinite possibilities. Okay. Let's get some tarot. I'll lay these all out first. Oops, I might have, nope. The Magician in the reverse. They're calling it a wort. That's what I should name my channel. Miriam the Wort. This might freak people out. My nickname is Will. So I could have called it Will the Wort. Maybe I'll do a second channel, Will the Wort, and it'll be like even crazier than this one. Yikes. No romance allowed, and it's all just not serious at all. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comment section. Ooh, and I'll cuss in that one. How about that? All right. I just really want to cuss. It's just my natural state. I keep looking because I feel like, okay. Page of Wands in reverse. Four of Swords. The Enoch, which is the Tower. But it took me a second. I was like, what is that? Eight of Wands. Page of Cups. And Knight of Pentacles. Okay, blessings for group 1. So, because like the whole situation with you is just coming out of a dark time and then taking like some kind of a risk that promises that has a very good potential for a reward. That's a very broad situation, but I feel like we either have so many spicy people in here watching this that you know exactly what the risk is and you know exactly what you've been through. And so I'm not going to like mire us down with me trying to name all the scenarios, if it's a romantic thing, if it's a platonic thing, if it's work, if it's spirituality, if it's anything. We're just going to kind of move through it as is. And then if stuff more detailed comes out, I will let you know. If it doesn't, you can tell me what your details were in the comment section if this resonated for you. And that would be fun. But you don't have to. I'm never telling you that. That was embarrassing. So the Wort and the Page of Wands in reverse. I feel like that also goes along with that coming out of those hard times energy of kind of feeling like because the times were so hard, this energy right here got a little bit stunted. So it's like the energy here is kind of showing me that while this is stunted a little bit, with a little bit of rest and relaxation coming out of those hard times. Okay. I feel like a lot of you haven't rested from like your misfortunes, probably because they were so, I don't feel like they were huge. Maybe some of you might have had some huge situations, but it almost feels like just a bunch of stressful, smaller situations all mixed in together. And they just built until they got too big, too big to handle, too big to deal with, too much for one person to have to stand, right? And so your guides are saying that you do need to take a little bit of rest to get over that energy, because that risk and reward stuff we're talking about, it reminds me of like a time that I took a risk and I was sitting around not really doing as much, like with like the cards and doing readings for a living because you set your own hours that way. And, I was still grieving from leaving my teaching job. And so I wasn't doing as much. And I felt like I was this big loser for, taking that time. because like we all need money, right? Especially when you're like a sick person. Gotta have the monies. But at the same time, and taking this type of work is a risk, all of that. But I needed that resting up from that so that I didn't have like another tower moment, which would have been my psyche, probably, right? You're like, oh, you saved your psyche? Can't tell. What's left of it I did. I totally agree. Not much of it is left. But the guides told me at some point, my guides were like, you need to rest while you can, because like stuff's going to start to take off, right? And things did. They get busier. And so your guides are kind of telling you the same thing, is that you go ahead and take that rest from this so that you don't have a second tower moment, but also because pretty soon you're not going to be able to rest as much because of all that reward coming in. I'm seeing a lot of socializing and making of new friends. So some of you might be risking moving somewhere new, or just making a huge change in your life, like maybe going to a different school, or moving to a new location, getting a new job or career. But what comes in is all this new, fun, wonderful energy, all these rewards, right? And then they top it off with the Knight of Pentacles, which is like a reminder of, see, it's okay that you took it a little bit slow. It's okay that you went a little bit, at your own pace, and you spent some time resting. And that way you avoided that tower moment, and slow and steady wins the race. And, the little turtle at the end of the rabbit and the hare, is the one that got the reward. And so that is what I have for you, my beautiful group 4s. If this was helpful to you, please tell me how in the comments section. You can give me topic ideas there as well. If you would like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I had fun tonight. I thank you so much, my group 4s. You have group 3s. Sorry if I said group 4 the whole time. It's because I do group 4 all the time. This time I only did the 3 piles. So I apologize for that. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful night, or whenever you're watching this. We will see you in the next one.